After a very rough summer for L3, the United States and Mexico are set to face each other for World Cup qualifying. Hi, if you're new here, I'm Filippo, and welcome to Tactical Manager TV. Today, we're going to be doing a full preview on United States versus Mexico. So for this video, we're going to go through where you can watch the game, location, time, day. I'm going to try to give you any updates on the US men's national team that we have, try to predict Greg Berhalter's starting 11. Maybe at the end of the video, I'll try to give you my score prediction, but honestly, at this point, it's very hard to determine what's going to happen on a USA-Mexico derby. Now, for L3, because L3 fans say I'm overly biased, I decided to bring a special guest to talk about Mexico instead of myself. With that said, we're bringing in Wiso Vazquez, the host of the Mexican soccer show L3 expert, and much more qualified than me to talk about L3. So please make sure to give him a follow on Twitter. Also follow the Mexican soccer show on Twitter as well. I'll try to debate him. It'll be very fun. He'll also give his predicted 11 for Mexico and the prediction of his score for this derby.
What's up, everyone? My name is Dustin Perez. I am the producer here at Tactical Manager TV. And while today's a special day, it's Filippo's birthday. So please, guys, comment down below, happy birthday, Filippo. And if you want to be extra nice, comment Chupa Palmeiras. And trust me, he'll reply to you. One more thing, let's reach 1.5 thousand likes for his birthday. Come on, we could do that. It's his birthday. Thank you guys so much, and let's get back to the video.
All right, with that said, make sure to hit the like button if you haven't already, subscribe, and I guess comment down below your prediction for Mexico versus United States this Friday. All right, let's play the intro and let's start this preview. The United States is set to face Mexico this Friday, November 12th at 9 p.m. Eastern Time. This will be the 7th round of World Cup qualifying, which is essentially halfway through it, and this game will be hosted in the United States at the TQL Stadium at Cincinnati, Ohio. A great stadium, if you ask me, but look, I don't mean to offend any FC Cincinnati fans. Not such a great team. 3 MLS seasons, all finished in last, and I apologize for getting off topic. Let's go back to Mexico and United States. If you're in the United States, this game will be televised at ESPN2, Univision, and 2DN. These two teams have been a powerhouse of CONCACAF from since I've started watching soccer, which is pretty much when I was born at this point, so the past 27 years. Now, with that said, lately, Canada has been trying to sneak in right there, but Mexico and the United States are still the powerhouse of CONCACAF, and they're currently first and second place, respectively. Mexico leading CONCACAF World Cup qualifying with 14 points, followed by the United States in second with 11 points. Now, when it comes to record between both nations, there's a clear and noticeable advantage to Mexico throughout history. Mexico has 38 wins, the United States has 22 wins, and there's 14 draws. But when you take into account recent history, let's say the past 20 years, the record changes a lot, and mostly due to the growth of soccer in America as a whole. So the record from 2000 till today, in 31 games, has the United States with 16 wins, Mexico with 9, and there's 6 draws. And this includes friendlies, competitive matches as well, just like the previous record mentioned, to be fair. So essentially what I'm saying is, before someone says, oh, this record from 2000 has friendlies, so does the other one, okay? Essentially what I'm saying is, in recent history, the United States has had a little bit more success. And listen to this. Recent history means the past 20 years, right? So don't say from 2010 to 2018. I'm talking about the past 20 years. Don't get too picky, because if you start getting too picky, I will talk about the summer of 2021. Now, Greg Berhalter brought a 25-man roster for the entire camp, but the game day roster can only have 23 players. That means he's going to cut 2 players. He usually brings a goalkeeper to play, obviously, and 1 backup goalkeeper, which means Sean Johnson is likely one of the 2 players that are going to be cut. Now, in regards to the second player, who knows? My guess is he will cut one of the fullbacks. And essentially, he brought 2 left backs, 2 right backs, and 1 that can play both, which is Joe Scally. I personally think for the first game, he's going to cut Sean Johnson, and then it'll probably be Joe Scally or Reggie Cannon. Okay, that's just my thoughts on that. Now, let's bring in Wiso and talk about L3. And then after that, I'll give you my predicted starting 11 for Greg Berhalter. And maybe I'll give you my score prediction. Hopefully by now you already hit the like button, subscribe if you enjoy this type of content, and comment your score prediction. Now, one thing in this video, I'm not going to go through the entire USA roster. We already did a whole live stream on that, a 1-hour live stream. You can check that out. With that said, if we do lose to Mexico, at home, I might have to go on exile, just like Luke Skywalker. And we all know how it ended up for Luke Skywalker. Not good. All right, Wiso Vazquez. Did I pronounce your name right?
Wiso. You gotta just let the F
Wiso.
go. Wiso Vazquez. There it is.
Yeah, the reason I did that on purpose, because here in the channel there for so long before we start talking about what matters L3, they were complaining that I couldn't pronounce Borussia Mönchengladbach.
Okay, I can't pronounce that either.
Yeah,
so.
I started calling them Borussia, not Dortmund.
I like it. Yeah, you know, as long as people try all around the world, I'm sure there's announcers there, but as long as people try, you're cool. But you said it fine. I'm glad to be on.
But guys, we have here the host of the Mexican Soccer Show here, and definitely much more qualified to talk about L3 than me, but not about the United States. So let's start with this here. This is the first thing I want to talk about here, and it's Mexico and World Cup qualifying. They're clearly doing well, right? 6 games, 4 wins, 2 draws. The draw was against Canada, which I guess a lot of us underestimated Canada, to be fair. United States and Mexico.
Not Canadians. Canadians are ready to win the World Cup. So just throw it out there.
I call them the rude Canadians for a reason.
Man, can we this is the first time US and Mexico fans can come along and be like, what's up with Canadians coming in being so rude? I thought you were so nice, Canadians. But I got a lot of them on my channel.
I didn't know they could trash talk. I didn't know that.
I didn't know mean Canadians existed until this year in the World Cup qualifying. So Canadians, be nice.
At least for one. And I have a lot of Canadian friends that come here in the channel, and sometimes they're nice, sometimes they're rude. Adrian from Abona TV, Josh from JJD TV. But regardless of this, Mexico has 6 games, 4 wins, 2 draws, 10 goals, which is the best attack, I think, tied with Canada. And they have 3 allowed, which is the best defense. But fans are not satisfied.
Yeah.
Can you walk us through what's going on right now in World Cup qualifying for Mexico?
Yeah, of course. It's Mexican fandom, right? It's like you've seen it where you see all sides of Mexican fans where they're not good enough or we should expect a lot more, which is kind of weird. And I think that's what it comes to. Even though we're at the top of the hex, even though we're top of World Cup qualifying and we have not lost, because the players that are getting called up, fans are already fired Tata. Because of those 2 losses against the United States in the summer, they're starting to see that Tata is not giving them the results they want because of those 2 losses. So now every little thing that Mexico fans can see that is wrong are going to say, we're not happy with the coach. I could say I'm one of them in the fact that we're still not playing in the way that I would want him to play. And I tweeted this a while back. If we started the World Cup right now, I don't think we get out of a group. I don't see us beating a good team, top 16 team. And it's something that we haven't seen in a while because we at least see, there's this phrase that whoever is in front of us, we're going to play just like them. So if it's Brazil, if it's Belgium, if it's, a big top 16 team, we're at least going to give them, hell, we're going to try to win the game. Not saying we're going to win. But a lot of the fans are saying man, look at our defense. Look at our old midfield. We need to put those youngsters in. And that's why they're not necessarily happy. But then what can you tell Tata if he's the number 1 in the, in the qualifier? So this is going to be a big test.
It seems something similar to the United States situation right now because we won 2 trophies during the summer and Greg is in second, only behind Mexico. So it's hard to argue against results, right? You can't argue. But a lot of us, not all of us, some are more critical, some are less critical, especially the US fan base. I think Mexico's fan base is more critical than the US, to be fair. I think the US does accept, and sorry for this, mediocrity a little bit more. but overall, it's what we're saying too. So when we see the United States play, it's like, yeah, we got the trophies during the summer, and we're probably going to qualify playing this Berhalter ball that we play.
You'll qualify.
But how far can we get in the World Cup with this? Can we get out of the group? It doesn't look like it, right? Unless we get a very easy group, but we know how the World Cup is. It's there's usually one group that's semi-easy, one easy group usually. And it's not going to be easy for the US or Mexico based on the way they're playing. Even though, to be fair, I've watched the Mexico play. Because maybe I'm not as critical of Mexico because I don't care as much as the Mexico fans. I didn't think they looked that bad, but that's more in my view.
Yeah, it's interesting that you say that because, are we getting lucky with our wins, right? For example, that first one in Jamaica that Mexico played in the last minute we won, right? Tied in Panama. right? Tied against Canada. But then, you're getting the job done against Costa Rica at Costa Rica. Away, Mexico's playing almost a better team than being at home. So it's kind of like this. Well, the job's getting done, but then when the real test comes, are we going to be resilient? Are we going to do it? Because the real test was the Gold Cup final for those players, or a real test was the Nations League final where it mattered, and Mexico weren't as lucky. And when I look as a fan of Mexico fans into the US, I look at that Nations League, when sure you got the trophy, but were you really satisfied the way you won? You won it. You got the trophy. Then the Gold Cup win. Sure you got that trophy, but were you really satisfied in the way the team was playing? And then came those 3 games for the US where it wasn't good in El Salvador. It wasn't good against Honduras that very first half until Pepe came in and rescued the day. And then going into Panama, the U.S. going into Panama, you finally saw, the luck ran out, and what Greg was doing is not good because we lost it. I was actually at that game, the U.S.-Panama game, doing some work.
For you.
And for CBI, for me, I was right on the sidelines, and man, I don't ever report anything on the U.S., but I saw U.S. completely lost from the sidelines to the game, and sitting there going, they're gonna lose this game, and surprised that U.S. had such a great summer, but then now it's bleeding into the qualifiers, right? And luck can't get you through the qualifiers and getting those results. So I think that's where both fan groups are, where when we face a Belgium right now in the World Cup, I don't see us winning until something needs to play or gel better with the players. At least
maybe if we have Tim Howard, that could have helped a little bit.
Tim Howard, yeah, great goalkeeper.
But it's good that you brought up the summer here. So let's move on to the summer. And I want to talk about the importance. And I apologize in advance for the summer, okay? Sorry for
No, it made the rivalry better. Yeah, it's hurt, but at the same time, we've been kicking US's butt since like 2013.
No, but I need to apologize twice. I don't know if you know this. I'm Brazilian American. I also beat you in the Olympics.
Yes. But you know what? As far as Brazil, I feel like Mexico, I think, was one of the coaches that said we're like the little piedra, the little rock in the Brazil shoes, where you're just not comfortable. Like all of a sudden, like we can't just necessarily, because we actually play really well against Brazil. We beat 2012 in the Olympics. We've played some great games.
2014 too, the World Cup.
Yeah, 2014, which is an amazing, at Brazil that we got the tie, and obviously the 2018 World Cup. I don't think any Mexican think what we thought we would have beat Brazil, but we love playing as Brazil. We get bigger when we play Brazil, even if we lose. So
what was the quote they use a lot with Brazil? Well, there was this one time that I saw, and there was like the Mexican media put out, jugamos como nunca, perdemos como siempre. Was it 2018? Yeah. 2018.
No, that quote has been since the 1970s and 80s.
Oh, it's been forever.
We have but it's always repeated in all of our fathers and dads, and everyone's always saying, no, México siempre juega como nunca y pierde como siempre, which it's true. But hey, we got the gold medal, which is probably the biggest accomplishment Mexico's had in 2012. So
now, do you think because of this summer, this game is more important than normal, or that doesn't really matter? It's just another World Cup qualifying game.
No. World Cup qualifiers are that's the most important game out of the 4. You can have a Gold Cup final, you can have whatever Nations League, whatever tournament, but a World Cup qualifier, if one team beats the other team at home, it's huge. We celebrated that Columbus win 5 years ago, because it was 2016. Like it was a great accomplishment that was done finally after Mexico losing 4 straight World Cup qualifiers in the United States with the 2-0 and all that other stuff. I was at that game, freezing my butt off. At the end of the game, could be like that's a great accomplishment for Mexico to beat our rivals in the United States. Now, coming in March, the U.S. coming into Mexico. Let's say how we're faring. That's a game we don't want to lose. We can lose a Gold Cup final, but losing to the United States in the Azteca would be fracaso, detrimental. I mean, I'm just telling you, as a pride, because we don't lose at the Azteca. We've only lost twice ever in World Cup qualifying, Honduras and Costa Rica. We lost to even the U.S. friendly that we lost was kind of like shrugging it off because it wasn't a real game, but it kind of said, hey, United States is there. So this is more than even a World Cup qualifier, because let's face it, U.S. loses this game, Mexico loses this game, they're going to qualify to the World Cup. I mean, hopefully, right? Both will be there, and it'll be okay. Mexico loses, well, it's gonna hurt, but it's not the end of the world. The U.S. loses, it's gonna hurt. It's not the end of the world. So, but the win is gonna be huge if Mexico accomplishes it with this great generation that the U.S. has. Which what happened over the summer, where those players, you know, the thought that they had to win the Nations League, and the U.S. kept coming back. And, you know, that Pulisic, you know, pictures shared 1 million times, and it's going to be a staple there since the Donovan days of kissing his fist. Like, it's going to be there for a while. So these rivalries are way more, especially when it comes to World Cup qualifier. And it's going to be, I think it's going to be an exciting game.
Man, that Nations League fun, because I make fun of Diego Lainez a little bit too much. And when he scored on us, and I saw that, and I'm here doing a live stream, I'm like, are we really going to lose? With anyone could have scored, it had to be Diego Lainez right here.
You guys hate on the kid so much. Like, it's not like he's an evil, like, so he's, is it because he lined up with Miaga and the whole, like, Miaga with the whole hype thing? Or what is it that because I see a lot of US fans like hating on the guy. I'm like, guy's like the nicest kid ever.
Yeah, I think Diego Lainez, it's not even really hate or anything. It's more that there's the whole La Liga thing that he never really broke out for El Betis yet. Yeah. He's still young. And I see on US chat groups and when we talk, everyone in the US men's national team community recognizes how talented he is. Probably the best prospect you guys have right now, in my opinion, in terms of talent. Will he live up to it? That we don't know.
Totally different, yeah.
But we recognize that. And I think it's more of like the bantering. It's like, let's pick one of their best talents and just pick on him. And then he has the whole La Liga, they're not scoring, and that's why we pick it. Even Hurt Gomez mentioned it once in Football Americas too.
I'll give you two. There's levels of trolling, and that's funny. You know, it's fun to have those types, and that account's hilarious just because it's just like, dude, poor guy. Like, does he really need the more pressure? And there's US fans, so you know, I applaud it. At the same time, I think it's annoying, but it's doing the job of having that rivalry. Yeah, but I go back to it. When Diego Lainez scored, we even were like, bam, he did something to the U.S. And then, you know, our captain Guardado missed that PK, and there went that Nations League.
We were paying the Tim Ream tax that game. Tim Ream couldn't stop Lainez. But let me put here, this is the Mexican roster right now. So probably whoever's watching this can't see all the names because of how small it is. What I want you to do right now for us here, and then obviously I'll throw on screen the starting 11 you give me. How do you think Mexico's gonna line up? Obviously, probably the 4-3-3, but what is the starting 11?
Yeah, 4-3-3 for sure. That's go-to. You can't take him away. Although he did do the 4-4-2 in one of the games, but now 4-3-3. Obviously, Ochoa, of course, he's not moving anywhere, and even you can see that bringing the old guys even to the lineup, not even any. It's one of the reasons why fans are upset. You can bring in Acevedo and other ones. The biggest questions is the back, right? The back four with because there've been so many movements and because of really players not living up. You know, if we go back to that Nations League, it was Salcedo, Nestor, Gallardo, and Chaka. I don't think anyone's going to be playing of those that'll be there. You know, this is where we see Moreno's experience, maybe with Cata Dominguez. I don't see Araujo in there in the middle. But then on the other side, Gallardo is probably the only one that's going to repeat out of that Nations League.
Is Araujo suspended?
Araujo,
you got a red card, right? The last game?
Yeah, I don't think. Actually, that's a good question.
I can check here for us real quick. I believe. So Mexico faced the last game Mexico faced was against El Salvador. Yes. Nestor Araujo got a red card. So Nestor Araujo for that final game, he's out for this one.
So there you got that Moreno. Jorge's I would say that the question on the right back is what everybody's at, if it's gonna be Chaka, right? So that's probably the only big question that I have. It depends on who Tata has.
So give me a guess for the right back. What's your guess? What's your prediction or guess for the right back?
Man, I'm gonna go with Jorge Sanchez.
Jorge Sanchez.
So, yeah.
And then the dual center backs.
If it's Moreno and Cata Dominguez.
Moreno and Dominguez. Who's your left back?
Gallardo,
yeah. Oh, that's what we have. That's why Greg's probably gonna put Paul Riola to just keep tracking back Gallardo.
Yeah. And people have not been happy with Gallardo.
Yeah, I the thing with Gallardo is he's very technical, very
Mhm.
pacey as
Mhm.
well, but I think defense could be one of the issues with him. But he's dangerous up top. That's something
Yeah,
that we have to recognize.
Tata loves him. He's at most minutes with El Tri for any other players is Gallardo. He loves having Gallardo. On the other side, it could be Chaka there. Chaka, fans don't like him, but I believe that's how it's going to be. Midfield, the three that I don't think any is not moving. The one person that's definitely not moving anywhere is Edson Alvarez, who's
Mhm.
doing a great job with Ajax, and with El Tri, Guardado and Herrera. Just the experience that are there. I don't think there's going to be any changes there. Could he sub in there? Maybe an Orbelin, maybe no. He's gonna go with those three. Cordova
So
probably.
I'm seeing here he didn't call Romo to the national team.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that's probably one of the complaints from the fans. Actually, no, Luis Romo's here. Luis Romo's here. Found it.
Luis Romo's there. He's there. The complaint from the fans and from a lot of people is that they want youth in the midfield, and I agree. I'm looking at this U.S. team and how fast they are, right? And that midfield, it's going to be tough. Either Herrera not having as many minutes in Europe, Guardado who is playing but is a little older, and then Edson is Edson, right? So that's going to be an interesting matchup.
Edson has been fantastic for Ajax lately. Very good.
Yeah. So that's, like I said, Edson's the one person that's not him and Ochoa that should not be moving
So
anywhere.
the front three, I think I can guess it. And just correct me if I'm wrong. Right wing, Tecatito. Left wing, Chucky Lozano. And center forward, the guy that will cause a lot of trouble, Raul Jimenez, which is getting back in form. Correct?
Yeah. Yep. I mean, that three is what we've been wanting to see and what we would want to go to the World Cup. Our most talented three, Chucky Lozano. I mean, all goals go through Chucky Lozano. I think he's doing a great job. Raul Jimenez, you've seen what he does. That question would be Tecatito, which hasn't had the best of form, but against the US, Tecatito does really well. So I think those three will start. And I don't think Tata's going to move that. Then with the changes, we'll see how it's doing. But
all right, so it's about the lineup I expected as well. Also the Chaka or Jorge Sanchez. We'll see about that. Last but not least, this is the toughest part, and there's no way to go around it besides being biased. What would be your score prediction?
This is always a very tough question because you can't be. It's like if you say, like, I can remember the last time Mexico was like, they're gonna lose this game. Like, you kind of have that in the back of your mind, but you don't want to say that just because it's like, well, you're not a fan. I have to go with Mexico winning a 1-0, and I can back it up with, I believe this is going to be a very, very tough game, and luck is going to be on our side because luck wasn't on our side the last two in the two games. So I'm putting that prediction out there because we have to have a win against the US this year, and this has to be it after the two. But a tie, a good 1-1, a good 2-2, I'm good. I'll sign it. A loss, which I can see happening also because go in there and we dominate in the 80th minute. A corner or a full-on free kick, and US is up 1-0 and we're done. Like, I can see all of them, but as a fan, I'll be a bias. I'll go 1-0, and the rivalry will continue to look into March to see how the games are. So that's what I'm gonna go to.
I can't give you my prediction now here because at the video right after I have a recording where I tell everyone. They'll know it very soon. But again, it's even when we think the team is gonna lose, we can't and I'm never gonna say Mexico's gonna beat the United States, even if I think that's gonna happen. But again, it's also a derby, and anyone that follows soccer, world soccer, right? South America, Europe, when it comes to derbies, a lot of the things just happen. Sometimes the team can be much better, play better, and things just happen. And I hope it's one of those games that is just exciting. And like you said, I hope the United States win. If we draw Mexico, it's not the end of the world, as long as I see improvement in performance, because Mexico is tied with the US, the two powerhouses of CONCACAF.
Yeah.
But any final thoughts in the game before we wrap it up?
Hey, I think it's gonna be. I think it's gonna be an exciting game. I'm excited to see the atmosphere that there's Cincinnati. You know, see how many Mexico fans are gonna sneak in there by buying tickets off the resale. See how that goes. But you know, I want to see hopefully Christian Pulisic play. I want to see the best U.S. and the best Mexico play, and you know, come out of there going, all right, we know our rivalry is back. If it's like a 3-0 Mexico, awesome, I'll sign it. But at the same time, it's like what happened. And then on the other side, the U.S. winning convincingly is going to be scary for Mexico fans, that they're like, hey, this generation is here, and just wait till this. What is this generation doing this now while they're young? We're going to have tough time in the next 5-10 years, you know, in what the U.S. is going to do. But it's all going to be up to the coaches. So we'll see.
All right, that wraps it up for here. Thank you very much once again. May the best win on Friday.
There we go.
Okay, now let's try to predict Greg Berhalter's starting 11. And the first thing I have to say is I think Greg's going to go for 4-3-3 formation. It's his go-to formation. It's usually his safe bet. I know the last time we played Mexico, at least in Nations League with the 2A squads, he did go 3 in the back. The Tim Ream experience against Diego Lainez, it didn't go well. Thankfully, Diego Lainez is not on this one, neither is Tim Ream. But I think Greg's going to go for 4-3-3. So let me give you the lineup based on the information that was put out and things that Greg said. I'm trying to predict the starting 11 he's going to go with. Let's see if I can get it right. So let's start the 4-3-3 with the goalkeeper. So the goalkeeper, I think he's going to keep Matt Turner on goal. He did try Zach Steffen. He wasn't bad by any means on the game against Costa Rica, but I think he's going to go back to Matt Turner. The right back, in my opinion, he kind of gave hints that DeAndre Yedlin will be the starting right back. Anthony Robinson, probably a lock on the left back position. And then the two center backs that I think he's going to go with are Miles Robinson and Walker Zimmerman. Yes, I do think Chris Richards will be on the bench. As for the midfield, he has stated that he wants to press. So with that said, I still highly believe that Tyler Adams and Weston McKennie are locks. Tyler Adams playing the 6th position as a holding midfielder and Weston as one of the 8s. Now, the other one, ideally, you would want Yunus Musa, but I'm not sure. I actually think he's going to go with Acosta. I think we're going to see Adams, Weston, and Acosta. If it's not Acosta, likely Yunus Musa. Now, one thing I want to point out right there, too, he has said that Gianluca Busio is pushing for a starting position, so don't be surprised if he starts. I'm just saying, if you want to press, probably Yunus Musa or Acosta are the best 2 options instead of Gianluca Busio. Pressing is not the main thing with him. I just think he's going to go with Acosta. I'm sorry, guys. I hope not, but it's a possibility. Now, for the forwards, he has stated that the 2 right wingers are Paul Riola and Tim Weah, and the left wingers are Brendan Harrison and Pulisic. Now, how will we go about this? Could they switch? Could we see Brendan on the right, Pulisic on the right, or vice versa, or whatever it is? Yeah, it could happen. But I think he's going to go with Paul Riola, one of his favorites, on the right wing, Brendan Harrison on the left wing, because I don't think Pulisic can go the full 90 minutes. We saw Thomas Tuchel's comments. We know Pulisic is not 100% in game speed, so he'll probably come off the bench. So we're going to go with Ariola on the right wing, Brendan Harrison on the left wing. And the center forward, it has to be Ricardo Pepi. It's what Greg said. He's going to see a lot of minutes in this camp. Maybe he'll play full 90 on both. And again, Timothy Weah and Jesus Ferreira, they are not true center forwards. Pepe is the only true center forward that we brought for this camp. And this somewhat worries me, right? He's 18. What if he gets injured? What if he doesn't play well? If he's just not in form? We don't have another true center forward, and this does worry me a little bit. Now, before I move to the final section where I'm going to give my prediction for the score, one thing to point out, DeAndre Yedlin, Tyler Adams, and Weston McKennie, any of them, if they get a yellow card, they will be suspended for the Jamaica match. So keep an eye on that. Yedlin, Adams, and Weston. All right, everyone, we're reaching the final section of the video. I gave you all the information I could. And in regards to my prediction for the game, look, you can't predict what's going to happen in this derby. We've seen the United States during the summer get outplayed and still pull a win. We do have issues with our team. Mexico has issues with their team. It's in the United States, so that is a big advantage for the United States, obviously. Now, I'm just going to say 2 for the United States, 1 for Mexico. And yes, there's obviously a bias right there. I am never going to say that Mexico is going to beat the United States. So comment yours down below. There's no analysis there. It's just a fan talking, honestly, because I'm not going to say Mexico's going to win. I want to thank you all very much for watching. Don't forget, we will be doing a live stream for this game, and we'll be doing a video 7 things we learned. So subscribe, hit the like button before you go. Go follow Wiso Vazquez as well. Thank you for watching, everyone. Have a great day.